Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Dona Kappmeyer, and I'm the CEO and firm owner of ActionCOACH of Coastal Bend and KAPPital Game Plan Consulting in South Texas, and I will be your host for today. I am extremely excited to have our special guest, Monique Zinn, on our show. Monique is a president, CEO, and founder of Zinn Insurance in San Antonio, Texas. And today we're going to speak with Monique about her journey to get to where she's at today and the challenges and successes of owning and operating a business. If this is your first time on our channel, please be sure to like and subscribe so you can get notifications when we publish awesome new content. Well, Monique, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started. So let's
All right.
talk a little bit about your business. How is it structured?
We are structured as an LLC. If we're going to get into the legalities of, we have an LLC, and we have a team member of 12 team members now. We'll be soon to be adding 3 more, so we'll be hitting 15 by the end of the month here. So very
Awesome.
exciting times.
Very good, very good. And your role, founder, CEO, you got a lot of, that's 3 hats, if you will. What kind of hours
And
do you put in?
and I clean toilets too. So hey, you do all the things. When you're an owner, you learn how to do everything.
You bet, you bet. Well, it's chief cook and bottle washer, right?
That's right.
Very good. So let's talk about your business. Who does your business serve? Who is your ideal customer?
Okay, well, we have several different market segments. So we work in the areas of employee benefits, as well as individual and Medicare. So Medicare is here typically in the area, we call them seniors, in the areas anybody over the age of 65, or if someone qualifies for a program due to disability, they may qualify for some Medicare programs. We also offer options in working with families and individuals that do not have in benefits offered to them through their employer. And then we also create a strategy to create an employee benefits packages for small business. And usually we say small business is anything under 250 employees.
What makes your business unique, and why would I or members of our audience want to do business with you?
Well, we're not just an insurance agency. We are strategy and solutions partner. People can sell insurance, but you have to have a strategy as to why you need to implement it. You need to have a roadmap. You need to be able to, we want to be able to help other people as well as companies lead with proactive advice. We're trying to provide clarity in a world of complexity. We're bringing our signature ZINNified service to every single client conversation. So we try to bring in education, customer service, as well as strategy behind that. And as a company goes through different stages, whether they're growing, they're staying, their legacy, their family, different solutions are needed in order to provide the best options and to reinforce culture, to attract and retain employees with every single organization. Each business has different milestones, and we work with them along the way at different milestones, whether you're in infancy or you are a seasoned organization.
I love that. So you're looking at them from a perspective of in the long term and in the long run and growing with them as well, not just a short time situation.
Yes, that is correct. So we like to say what makes our business unique, Donna, is our ZINNified approach. It isn't just a tagline. We like to ZINNify. We like to use Zinn in any way possible. It's our experience rooted in care and consistent communication. And we try to also make it a mission for us to demystify insurance. We combine expertise, touch, service, solutions for everybody's unique needs, both in both worlds, from big firms to boutique style attention. So we offer not products, but more perspective. While competitors may quote prices, we deliver a strategy helping navigate risk, compliance, and benefits growth. That's kind of our secret sauce. Well, we have unmatched responsiveness, we have creative solutions, and we have a relentless focus on customer outcomes, whether it be the business owner, the leadership, even down to the employees. Because if you buy like I would say, if you buy the car and you don't know how to turn it on, what's the point of having it? It's the same for insurance.
Awesome. So, growing your business, you're very successful. You've got a team of 12 right now. What have you found from a marketing perspective to be your best strategy?
Oh, from a marketing perspective, well, we're leaning into the different markets. So different personas or markets have a different voice. Having a conversation with a Medicare client or a senior is very different than working with someone who is in need of an individual policy or needing from an organization standpoint. It just depends on what type of that outreach. So we kind of lean into different markets. So I would say LinkedIn is more your business professional. That's where people lean into when it comes to just learning about businesses, connecting with other organizations, and even finding talent in that area. When we lean into, I would say, Medicare, it's more Facebook driven. Medicare seniors are very interested in doing Facebook. And then I would also say we also lean into other social media outlets like TikTok. I'm not a huge what's the other one? Twitter. I'm not a huge. You can only do so much, but I would say specifically lean in to Facebook, LinkedIn, and as well as TikTok and Instagram. So just different areas are going to attract. We find that your Instagram, your TikToks, Twitter is more for that micro learning, that quick bit to provide an interest to want to learn more. So it's more about the micro learning aspect in those different areas of social media.
Very nice, very nice. And because you've got different segments, you're utilizing different social media outlets to target to those segments. So well done in that respect.
Thank you. Well, it's a work in progress. Anytime that if you think you've got it figured out, something's going to pivot. You got to ebb and flow. So, and again, it's also just guerrilla information. So we have news information. We have information to our existing customers and employees about micro learning, learning, about simple things on just how to use your program, and also the proverbial just the ask. If you felt we've done a good job, who else do you know that we can talk to be able to help? And so that has led a lot of open opportunities. When you do a good job for somebody, news can travel relatively quickly, and warm handshakes are always much better than the cold handshakes.
You bet, 100%. So let's talk a little bit about your journey, Monique. So why did you
Okay.
choose to get into this business?
Uh, well, insurance is not one of the things that you want to grow up and be one day, like an astronaut or a policeman or a politician or, a veterinarian. I don't know. You can kind of go wherever you just choose to do so. So sometimes it feels like you're running a circus. So, how did I get into the business? Oh, I kind of jumped into it. I learned it from in New Mexico. So I got my start in New Mexico. And so I worked for what was called a general agency at the time. The general agency, I was just started as a summer job. It was kind of fun. I kind of was a little bit, I paid attention to details. I asked questions, and I slowly rose up into the organization. I got my license there, and I was really running the general agency there for several years. And I got to a place where I couldn't go any further. And I took what I learned, the pros and the cons on from there to how to run a business and what I would do differently and how I would work with customers, and then took that. So I also had some fantastic mentors as well too to help guide me on my way for my journey of saying I'd like to start my own agency. One of my very specific mentors was my mother. So she was in the industry as well too, and she was instrumental on really defining how I've done business, where to go, the ethics, learning, my zest for learning, my curiosity, and a whole lot more. So that's kind of where I jumped in. A couple years in after that, I met my husband, and he had an opportunity to move to Texas. So he said, "Well, Monique, I have an opportunity to move in Texas or Louisiana," and I was very quick to decline Louisiana, and so we ended up in Texas. So yeah, it was a blessing in disguise. And then, as you know, when you start something new and you come into a new area, you're starting from scratch. scratch. So it took some time. And fast forward years later, we've been very blessed in being able to, have a team to be able to support our mission and our goals to be able to help others in a much larger capacity. So how did I also choose this? Well, I really saw firsthand how confusing transactional insurance could be, and I believe that
Mhm.
clients deserve something just better. I wanted to build a business where expertise makes empathy, and every client walks away with more clarity and confidence. And it's been a memorable journey. I've have clients from all walks of life, all stories, and I believe that you learn through others. You don't just educate, you learn, and then you pass that information on. So I've learned, and I still am continuing to learn from business to medical issues to just people's walk and their journey on what they would do and not do. And I always feel that it's an opportunity. You learn from others, and sometimes you learn more within your mistakes than you do your successes. And believe me, I've made quite a few, but I've also had good people to provide mentorship around me to be able to help me to see some other roadblocks that I may have not seen as I have continued my journey in my organization.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about those failures,
Okay.
because those really, really shape us. So what do you find maybe what were one of your top one or two hurdles or failures that you had to overcome in your journey of building this business?
Uh, not first, I would say not taking things so personally. So when people tell you no, learned very quickly, okay, does that no, not now, no, not ever, no, go away? What is your definition no? Because my
Mhm.
definition of no can be very different. You have to be relentless. You can't give up. You also can't, as you start to grow, you can't do everything yourself. So you have to learn to replicate yourself. Find the people. You have to figure out what is the who, what is the how do I get this done, and then implement the who is the best person for this. Are they smarter, better, faster than you to be able to accomplish that? And once you start to find the right who's in your organization, that takes things off your plate, so then you can focus on what you do best. Because what you really want to be able to do is surround yourself with a team who you're leaning into. What a friend of mine David would say is you're wanting to lean into their superpowers, because then
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work. You're being able to do something that you naturally derive energy from, and you want to come to work. You want to help a goal. You want to help a mission. And so that is where, and it's a work in progress. It takes a long time, and it's a continual ongoing process to make changes to your team, to when you hit strides for growth and you're trying to scale. Now you need a different set of team members to be able to accomplish that next set. Not everyone's going to stick around, even good people that you've had for a very long time. So being able to observe and pivot has been, more difficult. And I think the longer you're in business, you start to see that a little bit more, and trust your gut and being able to, because I think people in general, especially business owners, we still have a kind heart. And a lot of times we maybe hold on to someone for too long when it didn't do the organization and even that person justice to keep them in a role that they could have had another opportunity to go fly and spread their wings somewhere where they could just lean into their superpowers. So I think that's been an ongoing trek, and just letting go, and things are not going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. And I would have to say, sometimes you have to be accepting that 80% is good enough for now. You're not going to get to 100%. So it's hard to let go. It's hard to diversify, to let things go, but knowing in the back of your mind that it's for a greater good. And why not start to give something to some that is much better for, that you're not great at. So curiosity, and always be learning, as one of my friends would say.
Those were for our audience. That's a lot of gold that you just laid out for us. I mean, a lot. So if you're listening to us and you hear this recording in the future, please hit rewind several times and replay, because that's a whole lot. So thank you for sharing
Thank
that
you.
information. So
Absolutely, I'm
let's talk.
happy to share.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So where do you want this business to go in the next 3 to 5 years?
We're expanding our advisory services and integrating more technology for more seamless client experiences. And we're developing new talent to keep our ZINNified promise as we grow. So we are scaling. Our vision is to become the gold standard for strategic risk and benefits consulting in Texas and beyond. That's our goal.
Awesome. Speaking of goals, so you got a lot on your plate, some awesome, ambitious goals for the next 3 to 5 years. What is your approach to setting those goals? How do you go about doing it?
Well, you have to start from a macro and a micro level. So you have to look at, we combine the big picture vision with 30, 60, 90-day action plans. We're translating dreams into data-driven goals and accountability. Every goal aligns back to our mission, which is to elevate clients, empower our team, and build lasting value. We look at those, and so the weekly goals hit our monthlies turn into our quarterlies turn into our yearly goals reinforces our goals for our 3 and our 5-year vision. So it's the tenacity and the play. You're not going to get there overnight, but it's the breadcrumbs and the small movement and the disciplined effort in order to get there. That's why we're trying to build a lasting value with our organization.
Well said, well said. So with that, you've got to have team buy-in. And it sounds like you have a really good process for bringing on awesome talent. So what is your approach to bringing on those rock star employees? So how would you describe your hiring and your recruiting process as it relates to, where you want them to go, what that plan looks like? What does that look like for you?
Okay, so I'm going to take it kind of at like 2 approaches here. So we hire for attitude, curiosity, heart, and then we train for excellence. Culture fit matters just as much as credentials, and we look for
Mhm.
people excited to grow with us and create those memorable ZINNified moments. So we lean into what is called culture index, and so what we're trying to find is the right people for the role based upon their natural instincts and who they are, and like we say is like who they are in their PJs, their natural self. So we want to lean into
Mhm.
their everyday superpowers, so you're not flexing and trying to be something in a different role that you're not. So it's not considered just a parlor trick, but we're using and implementing culture index not only to find the right people, how we communicate and interact with others, customers, our team members, how we're growing, how we define training in certain departments. So we're creating training around culture index on how people learn. If you have like a specialist or you have a craftsman, they're more detail oriented. They're going to have a different type of training and how they learn compared to someone who's in sales, who's a trailblazer. Just give me a big picture. I'm not really interested in super finite details. I have a team behind me to do that. So we're really trying to use culture and people to define how our systems and our processes, who we hire for, how we grow, how we scale, even how we communicate and how we can quickly identify and lead in and to work with people, not just within our team, but as customers in general. So I think that's really where our approach is. I wouldn't say it's not unique or different, but we just don't want to use, as a friend of mine would say, we don't want to use culture index or as profiling. It's not a parlor trick to get somebody in, but we're really trying to use good data and metrics to find people the right thing, because when you're happy and you enjoy what you're doing, you're also going to retain team members for a much longer period of time, because they enjoy what they do, they feel they're good at it, they feel fed from an education standpoint, and also as some like change, but as we know, businesses evolve and change all the time, and being able to provide that consistency and growth. So when we find that when we have found success, the rest of our team shares in this success as well too. So it's really a team effort, not just every man for themselves.
Love that. They say that you experience the effects of a bad hire for a long period of time, and you experience the effects of a great hire for a long period of time. And if you invest before you bring somebody on, if you really invest in making sure you've got the right person, it's going to do wonders for you. So congratulations for being very intentional with how you bring folks into your organization.
Well, it takes time and it takes time. It does not happen overnight. We are
Right.
still continuing to grow. Sometimes what we did was we peeled the onion back and went, we have to start this all over again. At least we're finding it out now and we're slowly growing and making those changes within our organization. And it takes time. There's a lot of stumbling. You do go through a lot of people before you start building that, and it takes time to be able to identify those. So it's also made me a little bit better as a leader. So it's changed me over the years because today I practice more servant leadership. I'm trying to listen first, empowering my team members, and sharing wins builds the strongest team. And yes, there's an evolved from a hands-on to more of a coaching centered approach as we've grown. So that's kind of where I've leaned into, and just always be curious, always learning. You can never not learn something from somebody else. And you can also learn from your team members. You learn from everybody.
Yes. If you just put yourself out there and to be intentional about that and being open to that learning.
And honest and have some vulnerability that you don't know everything. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be mistakes, but as long as you are, there's trust. You people tend to have more trust factor when you're open and you're honest and just candid. This is not perfect. Things are going to ebb and flow. I'm not perfect. And so as long as you're well for the ride and you're open to that, well, then we're going to have some fun. Because at the end of the day, you still have to have a little fun when you show up. So you got to be able to laugh and joke. So we work hard and we play hard. So
You
we have
bet.
great times where people joke and laugh and have a great time. But then there's a sense of you jumping back into your work and really using your team and your team members to help not only for your role, but you help around you.
Beautiful. Well said. Gotta have fun. That's a must.
Yes, absolutely. You got to laugh. Life is difficult enough. You got to laugh about the silly stuff. You got to be silly sometimes, never lose your childlike qualities, because that's what also brings you happiness and can get you to reset when you have a bad moment. I learned something from someone a long time ago is that emotions are fleeting within 90 seconds. And if we can just identify, understand, harness that emotion, let it happen, release it, and to be able to reset yourself, you're going to be able to be in a much more open mind. And we try to really implement that with our team as well too. So shift and reset. So people are going to trigger you, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And sometimes you just need to let that happen, be silly, and it releases that emotion, and then you can get back to what you need to do and what you are best at.
Well said. Well said. Thank you. Let's talk about improving areas in your business. If you could improve one area in your business magically, what would that be?
What I believe it would be more, I would say, in the sales area. So we are working on in that area of sales, really just getting our message out to organizations about how we do things and how we can help them. Sometimes when you have conversations, it's just law of numbers. Your audience may not be big enough. You're not talking to the right person. So I think it's one of those things where how can you show someone that their strategy or lack of strategy is actually hurting them, and how can you help them be the best organization, be the best at their role to save time and efficiency, and just have an overall better, happier, healthier people and a workforce. So that's where we're finding where the struggle is that really, with people get very frustrated because healthcare costs are going, we can't do this. It's
Mhm.
just insurance. It's this. And it's really having to also change the mindset. And that's the most difficult thing, is to be able to have someone open to a different mindset, that there's a different approach. It takes longer to look at it that way versus just selling a program or like I would say, selling a tchotchke. We don't sell tchotchkes. We provide solutions and strategy, and that's different.
You bet. Thank you. Before we wrap up, I do want to throw this question out here about AI, because AI is everywhere
Okay.
and it's been
Yes.
integral in everybody's lives, either personally or professionally. And you're in the people business, if you will, as well. Most of us are in the people business, but how has AI kind of been incorporated into your business, and where does it stop versus on the people side? Where does the people side stop and where does it begin, if you will? Maybe I'm not phrasing that question, but let's just contrast. Where are you incorporating AI? Maybe that's a better question. Where are you incorporating AI versus where are you still keeping the people side in the business?
Well, Donna, I want to answer one of your questions that you just answered. AI will never go away. It's going to be around. It's going to continue to evolve. It's how you use it. Most businesses right now are in that infancy stage where they're just
Mhm.
using it to help compile an email, and they're not really taking it to how can it help solve problems. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. You have to ask it more questions. You have to use different forms of AI. There are different, from Chat GPT to Perplexity to Claude. Those are a few. I mean, there's hundreds of different things depending on what you are looking for. So it's really coming into how will it help your strategy? How will it help your goals? So we use AI in different areas, from social media and marketing. We use it for client communication onto how to better communicate effectively to our existing and new customers. How can it help us be more efficient? Help us to find blind spots. So I'm constantly asking, how does it, how is AI going to get me out of a job? How do I need to be the best CEO? How do I need to level up or look for the next set of education and tools that I need in my tool bag? So we're using it from different areas of business. It helps for touch points. Human interaction in our business, it will never go away. We still want to be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. But if it can help me deliver an answer quicker, if it can help us, what we're using it is to provide technology to provide us with quicker answers on returns for questions, to help engagement, to help better educate and micro learn, to teach others about different things, from insurance to prescriptions to co-pays, just overall different areas to help make
Mhm.
our lives better. So we're using it not as just, hey, compiled a different email, but depending on what that market is, we ask very specific questions that roll into our strategic plan. And it helps us to stay on track with our goals, like we had talked about earlier, at our 30, 60, 90 goals, our 12-month, our one-to-ones, how it works with our 3 and our 5 year version, our 3 and our 5 year vision going forward. So that's another way in which we're so human. Like I said, human interaction will not go away, but it's helping for us to be more efficient, to educate, as well as to just more appeal to the different people, their learning styles and personalities. And so it bridges the gap on if someone is not a talker, very few words, to someone who very much explains and is very imaginative and uses their hands, as I'm doing right now, to be able to create a bridge so that everyone can communicate more effectively, and we all get what we need out of a conversation, a moment in time, anything you can think of, a problem that needs to be solved. So that's where we're using that, and we're going to continue to make sure that it does what's best, and what helps to protect not only ourselves but also the clients as well too.
Right. Very, very good. And I'm happy that you're embracing it. And I love the way that you're using it. You're using it the right way. The
Well,
beauty of
it's
it, it's
fun.
evolving. It's fun and
Yes,
it's
it's fun.
evolving all the time,
And
and
we also want to lean into that. It shouldn't be scary.
yeah.
Many people, as you see the little ads on when you're looking at TikTok or Instagram, when you start to engage in AI and micro learning, there are several programs out there to make someone more educated and more skilled in those areas.
Mhm.
There's also just using AI itself. It's like, how do I use this to educate me to be better at AI? You can ask it those types of questions, and to be able, rather than just scrolling for hours on. And if you took 15 minutes a day to learn one new thing about AI, in 365 days, you have gotten so much more smarter and more educated with personas, how you're using it, how you're elevating your game and staying on top of those changes. It only takes 15 minutes a day, which I think most people scroll longer in 15 minutes than they would. So being able to micro learn is really that's where another area AI is really leveling up, is what can I micro learn to make myself smarter. Now, that doesn't mean that micro learners, that's all that you're going to learn. It's a stair step effect. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, I just need to know the Cliff Notes version in 5 seconds, ready, go. It's designed, and I'm hoping that people will not use it to be, I would say, dumber. We'll just use
Yeah,
AI to do it, and I don't have to think. And I know you
yeah.
still have to use your brain. You want to be able to use it so it makes you smarter. It provides you with better presentation, just being better. 15 minutes, it doesn't hurt to make yourself a little bit better. I think we all could do that.
So we thought we were doing a podcast on Zinn Insurance, and we quickly found that we were doing a podcast on AI and how to
We
use
did.
it.
All
So
of a sudden,
how
it
fun is
pivoted.
that?
It is. And it's a lot of fun, but it also is able to help. And so insurance and different strategies are not going to go away. Healthcare is not going to go away because we're human. We're going to get sick. Things happen. We want to be protected. We need life insurance. We need to be able to have programs that help protect our assets, being able to help protect in the event of there's a life event or a change in our world. So it's just helping to evolve for protection and also be able to provide a better way of life for families. So you want to be able to not always have to struggle. And if there are programs and solutions in such as insurance to help make it better and it's affordable, why not have it? Because you're still going to need the specialist in areas such as we are, and you, Donna. Everybody needs a specialist. You can't do everything alone, and you can't learn it all by AI by itself. You're still going to need those specialists whom you trust, who have taken those steps to further educate, to help guide you in that right direction.
Well said. So Monique,
Thanks.
what's the best way for our audience to get in contact with you, to learn more about your business or to reach out to you?
Well, we have a couple of different ways. The good old fashioned phone is always amazing, and I will provide that contact. We also have ZINNinsurance.com. So we have a great information and website about learning about different areas. We also are available on Instagram and Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. So we have not only a Zinn Insurance page, and then I also have my personal page to contact me as well too. And I'll be happy to provide our handles at the end of the presentation so that people will be able to further reach out. If you want to have a question, a concern, you want to have a quick chat, I'm always open for game to make myself not only smarter, but if I can help somebody else, I'm all for it.
Awesome, thank you. We'll make sure we include all that information at the end of this video. Well,
Thank
Monique,
you. That
thank
would
you.
be fantastic.
Awesome, Monique, thank you for sharing your story. This has been fantastic, and I know that our audience will find this information very valuable. This is a Business Spotlight series with Dona Kappmeyer with Action Coach of Coastal Bend and KAPPital Game Plan Consulting, along with Monique Zinn with Zinn Insurance. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you can see our great content. Thank you for being with us today. Monique, thank you so much for being with us on our show today.
Thank you, Donna. I had a great time. I hope you had some fun as well too. And at the end of the day, like I said, insurance is not boring. We did add a little sparkle to insurance.
I would agree with that. It was fun and it was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye for now.
Bye-bye.